What is the most reasonable proof that we can communicate with spirits? Do you believe in God? Do you believe you have a soul? Do you believe in the survival of the soul after death? There still remains the question whether spirits can communicate with man, but why should they not do so? What is a man if not a spirit imprisoned in a body? And why should not a free spirit be able to hold converse with a spirit in prison, just as a free man can converse with another who is bound in chains? If you admit the survival of the soul, is it rational not to admit the survival of the soul's affections? Since souls are everywhere, it is not natural to believe that the soul of one who has loved us during life should come near us, should desire to communicate with us, and should, for that purpose, make use of the means in his power for doing so. Did not his soul, during his earth life, act upon the matter of which his body was composed? Was it not his soul that directed the movements of his body? Why then, after death, if in sympathy with another spirit still bound to an earthly body, should he not borrow an earthly body in order to manifest his thoughts, just as a dumb man makes use of a man who can speak to express his wishes? Keeping in mind the principle acknowledged, viz., that of the existence and survival of the soul, first, that the being who thinks in us during life will no longer think after death. Second, that if it thinks, it will not think of those whom it has loved. Third, that if it thinks of those whom it has loved, it will not desire to communicate with them. Fourth, that if it has the power of being everywhere, it will not have the power of visiting us. Fifth, that if it can visit us, it will not have the power of communicating with us. Sixth, that it will not be able to act upon inert matter by means of its fluidic envelope. Seventh, that if able to act upon inert matter, it will not be able to act upon an animated being. Eighth, that if able to act upon an animated being, it will not direct his hand and make it right. Ninth, that being able to guide a human hand in writing, it will not be able to answer questions and transmit its own thoughts to the questioner. Jesus talks with the spirits Moses and Elijah. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, up on a high mountain by themselves. While they watched, Jesus' appearance was changed. His face became bright like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. Then Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking to Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good that we are here. If you want, I'll put up 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While Peter was talking, a bright cloud covered them. A voice came from the cloud and said, "This is my son, whom I love, and I am very pleased with him. Listen to him." When his followers heard the voice, they were so frightened they fell to the ground. But Jesus went to them and touched them and said, "Stand up, don't be afraid."